Hey, good afternoon, Axe Junkies. Scott Pysher here with Pysher Cutlery and Tool. I am holding in my hand the new Council Tool Belt Hatchet right here. This was sent to me. This is the second one that was sent to me to test out. And what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to treat this little hatchet like some Boy Scouts would treat it. I'm going to trim up some beech wood here for my beech tree here in the back. I'm going to take it and see how long it takes me to take a branch and carve it into a tent spike. And then I'm going to go ahead, I've got some really hard seasoned maple and walnut. I'm going to go ahead and see if it'll split it. It is nice and hard. We'll go ahead and see how that works. I'm going to grab a piece right over here, get it closer to me. The other thing that I'm going to talk about real fast, and I'm going to try to keep this video relatively short because I know you guys don't like those long videos. The fit and finish on this thing is outstanding. They went ahead and thinned out the cheeks and the profile a little bit, which has made it much more aggressive when it bites into the wood. They also sharpened it a little bit more than the original one. So I'm liking the way it fits in the eye. The grain is good grain. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm one for grain selection, but on bigger axes. The grain on this one here is it's perfect, but let's be honest, it's a hatchet, and if this handle breaks on a hatchet, it's more along the lines of misuse. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Now here's a piece of my beech tree that I cut off. Let's go ahead, trim this up, and see if I can quickly turn it into a tent spike. All right. I'm going to get rid of this odd end over here. I'd say that was fairly aggressive. So we're going to go ahead and sharpen this end here. Now this is obviously green wood. All right, pointy end's good enough to go ahead and get it into the ground. Let's go ahead and trim that off. Now normally, if a kid was using this as a tent spike, he'd go ahead and put that in there, but let's just go ahead and pretend that we don't have that. So I'm going to go ahead and notch the side of it here. I'm going to choke up on the handle here. There we go. I would say that it made pretty good and pretty fast work of that that beech wood. Let's go ahead and so for making tent spikes, this is a perfect little hatchet. It's sharp right out of the thing, so right out of the box. However, the other thing the Boy Scouts like to do is they like to feather sticks. That way, because they've all got to learn how to get a fire started properly. Now this here looks like it's a piece of maple that I have. Let's go ahead and split it. Just like hardwood, it's not going to split very easily. I'm going to go ahead and stand up here. Hold it right there. There we go. I just wanted to break this down just a little bit. Now, I'll be honest with you, I chipped the blade on this the other day. I set it right on here wasn't paying attention, and it fell forward. And there's a small chip that I put into it right here. So I'm going to feather it with this part of the head right here. That way it doesn't adversely affect the performance of it. Boy, this is surely seasoned. It's nice and hard. But I figure if I could at least feather hardwood, we know that soft pine would go fairly easy. So now, normally you'd want the feathers to stay on the stick, but I think because of the way the wood's dried, it's not going to quite have the same effect. But it's creating a lot of sawdust, little chips there that the scouts can go ahead and put into the fire and turn it, put it in a tinder ball. So I'm going to go ahead and say that for feathering sticks, not necessarily hardwood, but for feathering, you know, pine, cedar, things like that, probably would work just as well. So let's go ahead. Last test. I'm going to go ahead and see if this will split. If I got a level surface here. I may not. Let's see if I can. There we go. Ready? I would say that's a definite yes. Minimal effort. It's well balanced. There we go. That's a well balanced hatchet. So, now why did I treat it the way I did? Well, I'm a scout leader. My son, who's filming this right now for me, he is a life scout. And as was talking with Craig over the last year, it really is disappointing for me to go into a scout store and not see an American-made axe. You can buy the Collins Mexican-made axe, and there's a couple of China. I think some scout stores do have the S-Wing, which is of course American-made, but it's not a wood-handled, good belt hatchet. And I'll be honest with you, after playing around with this, Council Tool, if you're listening, Boy Scouts, if you're listening, this is a great, brand new belt hatchet for the Boy Scouts. Fathers, if you've got an Eagle Scout, or if you've got a son that's, say, a first class or above, this would make a great first axe for him. Fathers, this would make a great truck hatchet to take on your backpacking trips. And Boy Scouts, this head here would look like $1 million if it had an Eagle logo or a Boy Scout logo on the handle or the head. So, that being said, Craig, you did a hell of a job designing this. Council Tool, you did a hell of a job making it. And I think this axe is going to be a complete success. Thank you very much, and enjoy the afternoon, enjoy fall, and let's go out there and axe on. Take care.